I just need to make sure that's fine. All right, let's get started. I want to say a big good evening and welcome to Tuesday Live. And today I'm going to just allow you to trickle in. When you come in, put in the chat below where you're watching from, hashtag live if you're live, and hashtag replay if you are on the replay. I just need to go live right now inside my Facebook group. So bear with me 1 minute, and I'm going to give you time to start putting your comments in the comment below. Let's get this camera cleaned. And I really want to know how you all are doing. Yes. Today is the topic, the secret thief. Yeah, that sounds a bit cliche, isn't it? But by the time we finish with the teaching this evening, what am I typing? The secret thief, blocking your UK qualification dream, blocking your UK qualification dream. And even as I'm writing this thing now, so many things are flooding through my mind. And I hope that in this 30 minutes block, I would be able to share with you the things that we are. Oh my goodness me, what have I done? Okay, good. There you go. Right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Right. Okay, you're going to forgive me today because you may be hearing some background noise with the children getting their things. It's evening time, busy time, family time in my home. But I want to welcome all of you right now. This looks a bit, we're going to leave it like that. Okay, we're just going to flow. I want to welcome all of you right now to this platform. Welcome to my life. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Adisa Cosmos. I'm the lead mentor in ACN Academy, the academy that is made by international optometrists for international optometrists. And all we do is make things really easy for you as regarding UK qualification. So we talk all things UK qualification, and then on Tuesday is our dedicated time where I bring out time from my busy schedule and I come live just to give you value, to answer your questions, and to uncover, like we're uncovering today, the secret thief. A wise man said, even in the Bible, that when a thief is caught, what happens? They have to pay sevenfold. Now, some of you have been thinking UK qualification for so many years. You've downloaded the form. Dust is doing it in the email box. You don't know why, but I'm going to be sharing with you today the reason for which some of us are not moving forward. And I would say that even after, the process we know today is like the application form, and then you do an interview, then you get pre-reg. Some people have actually even passed their interview, but they're not even strong enough to get a job. Do you know why? Silent thief. We're going to be talking about it this evening. Hello, those of you from the Facebook group. Good evening. Welcome to the live. Go ahead and put questions in the comments below. And I just hope today that somebody will be blessed. I believe we're going to be blessed. Okay. I believe we're going to be blessed, but I really want to know who is here this evening. And if you were on the afternoon live stream, pardon me, there will be a little bit of repetition, but I've got a little bit more time right now, so I'll be talking a little bit more. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So just in the comments below, I want to know where you're watching from. But today we are talking about the invisible, silent, oh yes, but powerful enough thief, or whatever you want to call it, that number one sabotages our dreams to become UK qualified. Yeah, sabotages and actually, if you're listening to me and maybe UK is not even your thing, but you're thinking of going into a place that seems quite daunting, maybe the practice is a little bit different or more advanced than where you are, this would also apply to you. So it is silent but powerful enough to force people, they fail the interview, adaptations, and for some, they do not even start the process. And I know what I'm saying. You may think the lady here, oh, very confident, young lady doing her thing. Recently, I joined a program and it's all about speaking, and they've got a tournament. You wouldn't believe that I have not even bothered filling the application form. Do you know why? I'm thinking, my goodness me, what am I going to say? How am I going to package my story? What do I have to say? What do I have to do with all this? Even though it's my dream. So when I'm talking to you, I know that I'm going to be talking to myself. And I hope that at the end of the day, that you and I are going to be taking action and walking into our desired goals. Okay. So, why do I call it the secret invisible thief? It's almost like glaucoma. I'm sure you know very well what glaucoma is. Yeah. That optic neuropathy that affects the optic nerve head. The only modifying factor being intraocular pressure. Silent thief, eh? Because your patient can be going about their business, doing their thing. There's no pain, no red eye, vision isn't blurry. And then after a long period, even though to your patient it will be like sudden, but over a long period, it starts stealing from the areas that we can't see, isn't it? The very peripheral part of the vision. And then until it gets into where we actually use, yeah, then the patient starts to notice it. And by that time, what's happened? The deed is done, can't undo the diseased part of the optic nerve head, and then we begin to manage and things like that. But in our case, in the case of the UK qualification dream, there's so much more that this silent thief does. And on the long run, it actually robs international optoms of getting to their goal. I want you to stay with me. I know some of you will say, oh, why is she waffling? Just get to it, get to it, get to it. I'm going to get to it. All right. Now, why does this topic matter? What is even the importance of this topic? It is important because UK qualification is worthy to be a dream. Yeah. Becoming a UK qualified optometrist is not just a title, it's another level. Yes. It means that you have legal rights to practice in a well developed country with amazing equipment, and they keep on releasing equipment as clinical um, clinical equipment as the day goes by. It's a system that has a system in place to ensure that you and I, even after 10, 20 years of practice, that you're continuing to develop your clinical expertise. Yeah. What about the earning power? I mean, you newly qualified optoms as of right now, I mean, 50 and 50,000 pounds would mean that there's a handsome bonus scheme to attach to it, unless, I mean, we're talking about 60, 65, 70, and even more for newly qualified. So that means financial stability. It means that the family can actually relocate from some other place, be in the UK if that is a desired goal. It means a better lifestyle. It means that for those of us that have been in the UK for some years, doing some other jobs that we don't really feel fulfilled in, that we feel a bit not too good about ourselves for the jobs we do, just like I didn't feel too good about myself when I was a healthcare professional. Yet now I'm an optom. I'm happy. I'm glowing. I'm good to go. Yeah. So there's confidence, there's respect, there's clinical authority, and more importantly, you just know that you are doing the best for your patients because you're not just winging it now. You've got frameworks, you've got guidelines behind you, and it's just guiding you. And the more years you practice as an optometrist in the UK, the more you begin to be so confident about handling diseases and refractive things and binocular things and prisms and all the. So it's really important. But the point is, so many people will not even make it into this glamorous, wonderful place called UK qualified experienced optometrist, which usually I would say would happen around about 3, 4 years after you become fully qualified. Why? Not because of their knowledge or not because they're not smart enough, they didn't have the right degree or the right foundation. No, but because of this silent thief. And that's why it's really important that we're talking about this. Now, what let's see, we're going to talk about we know about it there. Yeah, signs and symptoms. How does it show up? I'm going to just tell you this in a story. Like, when I was going in for my contact lens assessment, this would be over 10 years ago. Yeah. Where are we? November 2015. Yes, over 2025, sorry, over 10 years ago. I'm going in into, my assessment for contact lenses, and it's like my heart is racing, my hands are shaking, what if I get it right? What if I don't get it right? Things like that. You're just thinking, and there's this tiny voice on the inside of me telling me what do you even mean? Yeah, contact lenses. How many did you do in Nigeria? The way you're doing things now, is it the same way you used to do it then? And it's just becoming like somebody, I don't know, you could say anything. But then, it for some people, that voice becomes so loud that they don't even fill the application form to submit. Yeah. Some others, it becomes so loud that they just almost freeze when they clock in for their interview. Um, and for some others, they're just like, okay, I'm fine. I'll just remain where I am. But my goal today is that if this silent thief has been attacking you, affecting you in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul, in any way, that you have the tools today to just put it in the corner where it belongs and move forward. I want someone to say, believing, yes, yes, yes to that. Yes, and yes, yes. Awesome. Cool. Right. So, what is this? It makes you speak quietly, doubt your answers, over explain, second guess yourself. And especially when the assessor then says, did you say that A, B, C, and D? You did it for this particular patient with this diagnosis? It begins to speak. You begin to doubt yourself. The candidate begins to change answers. And then voila, we know what follows after that. Now, there are 4 things that I know that fall into this category. But today, I just want to handle one, and that is the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that which tells you don't belong in the room. You don't belong in the UK qualified um, optometry space. You don't have enough training. You're not good enough. What if you get exposed? Stop pretending to be what you are not. You cannot pass the exam. Even if you pass the exam, you can't practice in the UK because you don't know what you're talking about. It's imposter. Because what is this imposter anyway? Imposter simply means someone pretending to be what they're not. Now, I know for a fact that as an international optometrist, because we haven't maybe the equipment that we use is not as broad as what we use here in the UK. I know that because of the knowledge gap, maybe some of the patients are patients that, you may have seen years ago. You may be like myself that by the time I was taking my exam in 2015, I had been in the country since 2012. So I had not even seen inside the consortium for a good 3 years. And then I'm going into the consortium to do things all like, oh, I'm all touched up. So things can come up like that. And I want to tell you that it's normal. Yeah. Those things, they are normal. They should not be stopping you. Yeah. No, they're normal. But there are things that I'm going to speak to you right now about on how, number one, don't pretend that it doesn't exist because it does. Yeah. That you don't acknowledge something doesn't mean that it's going to run away. Doesn't work like that. But when you acknowledge something and you take right action, those are the people that are going to be UK qualified or at least in pre-reg by September 2026. Yes. And so we're going to use um a little framework that I'm going to give you in order for you to beat imposter. And why do I know that this is real? It didn't just affect me. It didn't even just affect me like yesterday. Come on, what am I talking about? But in every single conversation that I have, every single I'm talking about 100% of the conversations I have with optometries, especially even before we start working together or we give them tools and they move on to work with themselves, it's all about gap. I did not do A, B, and C. I haven't used this, and this. I'm not too sure how to manage this particular patient client case, this and that. 100%. And you know that that's true. And do you want to confirm that that's true even for you? International Optom knowledge gap? Yeah. Cool. There you go. Right. So let's look at the framework. The framework I'm going to use today is RISE. RISE. So number one, recognize. Yeah. It's a voice. Yeah. I'm giving it a name for you. Imposter syndrome. Oh my God. That's the name I'm giving it. I know that if I have some life coaches in this space listening to what I'm saying, or some other people in some other spaces, they were like, oh, what does she mean? Well, that's the name I have for it. I'm an optometry certified life coach. So just take it. Let's take it like that. Let's not even, I don't want to think. You see, things are coming up in my mind right now, That's how it happens. But we're just gonna keep it quiet. So we want to catch it early. Yes, you don't want to recognize the voice. You want to catch it early and say, this is not truth. And I'm going to explain to you why. When I started my UK qualification journey and I met my mentor, some of you may be sick of hearing that story, but I can't talk about UK qualification without telling the story of me and my mentor. And I do recommend that everyone does have a mentor anyway. So one thing she told me was, she said, Adeze, I know you're a Christian, you are born again, you want to be very honest, but let me tell you something. The UK know what applies in your country, but what they want you to do is to go ahead and adapt your learning so that when you go in for assessments, you present yourself in the light that you understand UK practice and you can practice safely. Exactly what I did. And that's what I'm advising you to do. Why do I say that? Because yes, there may be some knowledge gaps. Okay. Yes, you may not be practicing. Actually, you are not practicing to the standards of the UK. Yes, take it from me. I've worked with optometrists from different parts of the world, whether it be I'm not even going to start calling the countries because it's not really important. But yes, you will not be practicing. I mean, if you're in America, actually, you are practicing above UK standards. hmm but for most African, Asian, Indian, you know, countries, some parts of Europe, even the UK practice is on a higher pedestal. So, yes, you may not be practicing in that level, but you can sort of work on things. Yeah, work on those knowledge gaps. And it doesn't matter anymore because you can get experience by learning, you can get experience by observing. I remember when I was doing my independent prescribing as an independent optometrist here in the UK, when I was filling the logbook, there are some parts of the logbook they say you are allowed to observe. It can be something you have learned, reflective learning, or it can be a patient that you have seen. So these are the ways that you're going to sort of sort out that knowledge gap, because most times imposter feeds on that knowledge gap. If you don't sort out that knowledge gap, it's going to be so hard to um silence that voice, and it needs to be silenced right before you go into the GOC interview. And you're going to continue to silence it even when you go into interviews to get your job role as a pre-reg optometrist, and even while you are seeing your patients as a pre-reg optometrist, you're going to silence it. And do you know the next time you need to silence it? When you're fully qualified and they say, okay, take your GOC number, you're now fully responsible for your patients. That is when you need to silence it even more. So the journey continues. So I don't want you to throw away this framework. Number two, I interrupt the thought. Yes. Ground yourself, breathe, replace panic with structure. And that's why we teach that you need to have a framework in which you are even going through cases. Now, this framework I'm giving you right now is the way you're going to deal with it inside the GOC interview hall. And why is this really important? It's because so many people, really brilliant. I shared the story of a lady that I know that worked with us, very good during classes, very good, in our personal study space, just couldn't silence this imposter during the interview, and had to just change career and all. But I know that's her path, but I've seen this firsthand really stop dreams, as we would say. I only say that because I now know that every single road, including the failure and the successes, is all for a good reason, but I'm not going to deviate. Okay. So you need to interrupt the thought immediately. Just redress yourself, believe in who you are, and begin to say, no, I've covered my knowledge gap. I know what I'm doing. You imposter, keep quiet. I'm speaking to the assessors. Do not interrupt. Okay. The next thing you need to do is you need to speak with evidence to yourself. What have you done? Cases you've managed, exams you've passed, patients you've helped, even case scenarios you've walked through, the mock interviews, the tutorials. You know, work on, speak evidence to yourself. One thing you don't know is that the GOC interview, if someone says the GOC interview, I call it a law court, where you are going in for almost like it's an interview, but it's like an auditioning. Why would we want you in the UK? You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to prove to them that you're worthy of that GOC, student GOC number. The point is, if you don't believe it, if you don't speak evidence to yourself, if you don't think that you have really covered the grounds. I remember having a session in the academy with one of our star students. Yep, one of our star students, she's got her interview really close to the coming. And I noticed that this thing was just everywhere. One of the three was just there. And I had her in a session. I said, why do you bother? You have covered the knowledge gap. You are a star. I mean, what part of the competency could they possibly ask you that you haven't built that skill and that practical tenacity? Come on, tell it to get out. It has no place in your life, you know. And I said, close your eyes and can you find it? Nah, can't find it. So you need to really prove to yourself from the depth of inside of you that I've trained, I've studied, I know what I'm doing. I'm moving on. I'm not an imposter. I'm not pretending to be a clinical optometrist, because that's what I am. The knowledge gaps that I have, I've covered. Do you get what I mean? Like, I've covered them. I know where my gaps are. I've mentioned them. I know it. I've covered it. Now let's continue. Really important to speak evidence to yourself. I hope you're being blessed or you're learning something. Cool. And the last one is E. Yeah. Expect growth, not perfection. You can never be perfect. Okay. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get 100% to get a proceed to pre-reg. Nah, you just need to be safe. You need to be structured. And you need to be confident. And so even when you you're doing your interview and you feel like you said something in the previous question that may be, up and in the air, forget it, move on and keep moving. Okay. All right. So I hope this was really helpful. You could check online, you can even go to YouTube, check imposter syndrome. You may hear it, you will hear a lot of coaches talking about it. It's a thing. And I do know that it's a very big thing in our space as international optometrists, especially those that are looking to level up their clinical and professional practice. And I hope that today, with this sort of framework, that you are fully equipped. However, we've still got three others. Okay. And what are the three others? You know them: self-doubt, we've got fear, and inconfident. Now, I do run a free 4-day GOC confidence challenge. This is where we begin to deal with all the anything called limiting beliefs, all those things about fear, self-doubt, imposter, um, inconfidence that comes in to grip the international optometrists, that they see other people going through the process and qualifying, and they just say, oh, well, not for me. Yeah, I like to try, but yeah, no, I can't really do it. We definitely go deep, and this is not about like generic, because I'm not speaking to you, so I can't ask you some particular questions, but this is where I go really deep personally into, that self-doubt and all the things. And then at the end of the 4 days, you're sort of cleaned out, you're ready, rocking and rolling, like your confidence is up there, you know exactly what you're doing, the next levels, that the next steps that you're going to take. And so if you really want, and if you really want to go through this 4-day GOC confidence challenge, I would advise that you put GOC or confidence in the comments below, and then I will definitely reach out to you. Obviously, at the end of the challenge, you could decide to go away and then begin to really study as regarding the competencies and all that. You will have an idea of the way you need to study and things that are really helpful. Or you can decide to walk into ACN Academy based on the bespoke offer that we will give you. Okay. So I hope someone got and some value out of that. I'm just going to check if I have any questions. Just going to check the group. Any questions coming through? Right. So yeah, no questions coming through. It means that I've done an amazing job. I want to say a big thank you so much for spending your good 27 minutes with me this evening. Those of you watching live, I say thank you so much for coming in. Those of you watching on the replay, I see you there. Remember, we are live every Tuesday lunchtime on TikTok, and then in the evening, I'm live on this platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the Facebook group as well. I'm going to be doing a little bit more in my private Facebook group, just making sure that I can do the best I can to help as many of you international optoms that really want to get over the line before September 2024, September 2026. Yeah, you're going to still come in, but obviously the whole system changes. So as many of you that really want to just follow this simple process of documentation, application form, GOC interview and pre-reg, and become a UK qualified optometrist, I really want to help you get over the line. I want to say a big thank you so much for coming in today. Yes, I hope you learned something, and I hope you are very much equipped to deal with imposter syndrome. And I'd like to see you even personally working one-to-one with you. 4 days, 30 minutes a session, working on these 4 things, clean you out, get your belief system in place, and then you're ready to go and rock and roll as you prepare for different aspects of your qualification journey. All right. You take care now, and I'll see you next week.